Yo, guys, long time no talk. I have some great news today. 80 upgrades is coming out, so I can finally release to you all of these BiS lists that I've been sitting on. So get ready because I'm about to go through a bunch of classes. Not every class and not every spec. I just want to focus on the ones that I know well about. And just to start things off, like let's get going with DK tanks. Today I'm going to share with you pre-raid BiS gear and phase 1 BiS gear for DK tanks in Classic Wrath. So let's get straight into it. First things first, we're going to be looking at the Tempered Titan Steel helm for our head. This helm is just crazy strong. I've talked about it many times in the past. The way that it's itemized, it has strength, stamina, and defense. That's it. So it's essentially missing a fourth stat value. That's why the stamina value is so insanely high. You actually, I don't know if there's a higher stamina value head, even in the next phase in Old War. So because it has so much stamina on it, this is like our BiS for phase 1. So this is a super good helm. You want to get this ASAP and sit on it because it's phenomenal. Next up, we have this neck. This is going to be coming from Emblems of Heroism, so you'll get this from running like heroic dungeons. Easy pickup, good stats on it. It's got hit and defense, like amazing neck. Love it. I could use this neck for a long time. No complaints whatsoever. Next is a weird one. So these shoulders I really like a lot. The Pauldrons of the Colossus. This comes from Heroic Guntrack, off the second boss in there. And what's funny about them is it has block rating on it. So yeah, at the end of the day, like these aren't great shoulders for a DK tank, but in terms of how much raw stamina we can get from it, it's the only shoulder kind of in the game where we can put a gem slot in it at this point. So if we're talking pre-raid, this is technically our best option. However, I will throw a couple other options out there for you if you're interested in going for something more like these shoulders from Sunwell. These are totally fine. If you get these, you can sit on them as well. Perfectly fine. Another good option are these BOE ones from Culling Stratholme. Definitely a good option there. And then there's another BOE. Cannot find it for the life of me right now. Can't find it. There are BOE shoulders with expertise on them that are purple. You can use those as well, although I just don't think you really need it, especially at this part in the this part of the game. So I don't really think you need it. I would just go with the Pauldrons of the Colossus, get the most amount of stamina you can. We don't really know yet how hard Nax is going to be, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. My favorite cloak in this option is going to be this hit cloak. This is coming from Nexus, I believe. Yeah, Nexus. Another great option, which is basically identical in stats. I think it only has a little bit less stamina. Yeah, 2 less stamina, 1 more defense, is from Wormrif's Accord Honored. They're basically identical cloaks. Either one is perfectly fine. You're good with either. If you want, you can get this crafted leatherworking one, but since it doesn't have any hit, I don't really like it all that much. And if you happen to save up enough for this Platinum Mesh Cloak with the Emblems of Valor, then you can go for that too pre-raid. But this blue cloak is phenomenal. Absolutely love it. Pick it up as soon as you can. Bracers, we're kind of limited on option. Really, this is like kind of our only one. This is coming from Heroic Old Kingdom. There's nothing else that's even coming close to being as good or better. So definitely go with this for pre-raid. Weapons. Now, this is going to be fun, and this is where I definitely get a lot of controversy on my channel, and my theory crafting with DK tanks is I am a firm believer in dual-wield DK tanking. That is a long story that we do not need to get into today. However, if you choose to go the dual-wield route, these 2 stat 6 are phenomenal for you. Red Sword of Courage, definitely going to be the best one-hander in the game pre-raid for tanking. This goes for any tank. So that one's a no-brainer. However, the second option is kind of like really flexible. I would say if you're human, you should definitely go with the Infantry Assault Blade. This comes from Utgard Keep Heroic. This is the first boss in there. Easy pickup. No-brainer. Plus, you get the sword. You're going to have double swords here if you're human, which is just going to be super good for you for the base expertise you get from it. If you're Orc, I would definitely recommend the Cloud Strider's War Axe. This is going to be coming from Heroic Oculus. It is identical stats to Infantry Assault Blade. It's just faster, and it's an axe. So if I had this, I would use this if I were Orc. Either way, like both are good. And then lastly, I do want to just shout out one more item. Crescent of Brooding Fury. This is from Zoldrak, a wanted quest, Rage Main's Flipper. You're probably going to do this quest anyway while you're leveling, so hang on to this axe. It's great. What I really like about it is that it's really slow, so it's even good for like Frosty K DPS. So great axe here. Definitely slept on a bit. Use this if you want to. Really solid choice. Now for two-handers. Two-hand pre-raid, there's a lot of options as well. My personal recommendation would be Titan Seal Destroyer. I think the flat stamina of 105 is good. The hit rating of 54 is phenomenal. Like, that is a ridiculous amount of hit rating, especially great for DK tanks. I would strongly recommend Titan Steel Destroyer if you want to go the two-hand route. I definitely would if I were tanking. A couple other options is the Colossal Scad Cleaver. This is coming from Heroic Halls of Stone? Halls of Lightning. A decent option here. Not my favorite, but it's decent. If you want to get it because maybe the Titan Steel Destroyer is ridiculously expensive on your server for the mats, then no worries. Then just go with this one. Lastly, I do want to shout out a couple more. This Salvia Corroded Pike, this polearm has a boatload of stamina on it, even more than the Titan Steel Destroyer, so that one's great. But I also really like Sword of Justice. Sword of Justice, particularly being extra slow, makes it a really good DPS sword. If you're human, you can run with this for the sword spec. Plus, it has the socket if you want to throw in another gem in there for even more stamina. So all of those options are really good for you for DK tanking. You cannot go wrong with any one of them. I will just recommend the Titan Steel Destroyer if you're going to go two hands. So let's throw that on. For gloves, we're going to go with the tier 7 gloves, just the 200 eye level ones. These come from OS 10, but they also come from Emblems of Heroism. So you can pick this up off the vendor after you collect enough from running heroics. There's kind of no... There's a couple other options you can go with, like this Gundrak one with expertise, or this Kirin one that is just tank stats, no hit or expertise or anything special at all. But this one just wins out like by far. So definitely go with the tier if you can. This belt, however, again, in this situation, it's 40 Emblems of Heroism, but there is not another belt that even comes close. And you will use this until you replace it with the Nax 25 belt. It is genuinely that good. This belt is insanely kitted. Very good belt. In fact, I would even consider gemming a green gem with hit, a vivid gem in that slot. That way you get the socket bonus of +6 stamina and get a little extra hit. That's a good choice. But you can't really go wrong. This belt is phenomenal. Must have. Bolstered leg plates, kind of a similar situation. I like going these. These are from Heroic Violet Hold. There isn't really another second option. And in terms of activating our meta gem, this is where I like to get the meta gem activated. I like to personally use a Nightmare's Tear. A Nightmare Tear because you get dodge and armor from agility, plus parry from strength, plus stamina from, of course, stamina. So this is a super valuable way to get your meta gem activated. However, if you want to go with just a cheaper option or a simpler option, the Guardian Twilight Opal will be a good choice for you as well. So definitely go with that if you want some expertise. Now, boots, we have a few options. Personally, I like to go with the Sabatons of Draconic Vigor. Great hit choice here. Coming from Wormrest Accord Revered. Easy choice. You know, no-brainer. Cheap. You get 29 hit, which is a good amount of hit. However, if you want, you could go with the Tempered Titan Steel Treads. I don't prefer them. Even though they have a lot more stamina, they have a lot less defense rating and no hit. No hit whatsoever. So I really don't like them all that much. And then that's basically the only two to consider, truthfully. Okay, moving on to rings. Oh my gosh, Titan Steel Earthguard Ring. This is another Phase 1 BiS item that you definitely want to hang on to, just like your Tempered Titan Steel Helm. So get this jewel crafting ring crafted as soon as you can. Next up, this ring here, the Keystone Great Ring coming from Heroic DTK, last boss in there. It's actually a terrible ring. There's no defense. There's only armor, stamina, strength, and dodge. So I don't love this ring at all. If you wanted to run with, say, maybe a Woeful Band, if you saw this drop in Halls of Stone Heroic and you just didn't feel like, you know, running Heroic DTK because you hate that dungeon, fine by me. Keystone Great Ring does win out as your best in slot pre-raid ring, but it's trash, and I want to replace it ASAP all the time. I do not like it. Essence of Gossamer. Look, every tank's going to be running Essence of Gossamer. You need to be running a Jolner Rub every single day of your life until you get it. It's that important. It's that good. You could use it all the way until TOGC. That's how good it is. And of course, figurine of Monarch Crab. Now, this is assuming that you are jewel crafting, so you can craft this. I would expect that everyone should be going jewel crafting, as much as I've harked on the fact that it is super, super valuable and super important for you to have. Definitely get Monarch Crab. Now, before, if you are hitting max level and you're, say, crafting this Monarch Crab as soon as you hit 80 and you're just unlucky and not getting Gossamer, go ahead and craft yourself a Ruby Hair as well. It's really good, ton of stamina, and you can run with both of these trinkets, both jewel crafting trinkets, because they are not conflicting unique equip, and that's a great choice. If you don't have jewel crafting, for example, you could go with Sonic Booster if you're engineering, and I also do like the combination of Kel'Thas if you just want to run with something from TBC, just to get you through for a bit. Those are all good options. And then, of course, lastly, kind of the only choice here is the Sigil of Unfaltering Knight for our Sigil. 15 Emblem of Heroism. Probably want to buy this first thing as soon as you can, because the proc that it has procs every time you hit Icy Touch, which means you're pretty much going to have this 59 defense rating running 100% of the time. And because it's running 100% of the time, you get to hit defense cap way quicker than other tanks. Of course, like, Feral Druids are going to have a way easier time hitting defense cap than you are because they can get it from talents. But this is huge. This is great to have. Definitely highly recommend this Sigil. But while you're at it, either while leveling or just another thing to do while you're at 80, is go ahead and pick up this Sigil of the Frozen Conscious. You're going to want this for later. Trust me. Great threat trinket. One of the best threat trinkets in the game for a DK tank. Just get it. It comes from the PvP dailies in Grizzly Hills. Just get it. And trust me, follow the channel. We'll talk about this Sigil much later. All right. Let's go into the Phase 1 BiS. Do I even have talents here? Nice, I do have talents. Okay, real quick about talents. This is going to be your talents. I know I'm going a little bit out of order, but just bear with me. Your talents and glyphs, I want to recommend this for Phase 1. With a caveat, of course, being because it is Phase 1 and because we know that you're running Nax a lot and Heroic Dungeons a lot, hopefully you have someone providing Imp Icy Talons, because there should be a lot of Frost EKs in the world and in your guild. You should run that other previous build as your BiS, but guys, running the Morbidity is crucial in Phase 1. And it's really just Phase 1. I'm not running Morbidity at any other point in the game, and it's really just kind of for 25-man Nax, and for Heroic Dungeons. Having the reduced cooldown on Death and Decay by 15 seconds means that you can continue to pull trash and continue to pull trash. If you do not have Morbidity, you're going to hate your life. You're going to want to re-roll the class. You will not want to play DK tanks at all. Your raid will be very pissed at you because you're going slow. Just go Morbidity. As long as someone has Imp Icy Talons, you'll be fine. Just go Morbidity just for Phase 1 and tell everyone it's okay. I'm going to go double buff spec later. But Morbidity is a humongous quality of life for you. Okay, moving forward with those talents out of the way. Again, we are keeping our Tempered Titansteel Helm. Our best in slot neck is going to be Boundless Ambition. This is coming from KT. Of course, Heritage is going to be really good. You get a lot of hit rating here. This drops off multiple bosses. You'll probably grab a Heritage along the way, and so just hang on to this as well if you need the hit. And we're not going to be running this. We're not going to get the EOE quest neck just because it has block and an extra gym slot on it. You'll never get this. Do not ask for this. You should not want this by any means. Take the 226 eye level neck from KT, call it a day, and be happy. Now for shoulders, there's a couple options here for shoulders. Personally, I prefer running with these. They're off a noob in Nax 25. I just think they give you the most amount of value because truthfully, we don't care a whole lot about the DK tier 7 tier bonuses. So we're kind of just looking at items, like what's going to be the most amount of value from items. And I like this one because it gives us 30 expertise. However, the tier shoulders are good too. and they're easier to obtain. For some reason, I've had some trouble obtaining pauldrons of a natural death sometimes. You look, they only drop off a noob. There's no shared loot table here, and so if you're just unlucky, you're unlucky. Either way works. There are a lot of good cloak options too. Personally, I prefer the platinum mesh cloak because it does give us some hit rating, which we do need. As you can already see, if you cheated ahead and looked at our hit chance, we actually have less hit rating in our full phase 1 BiS setup than we did pre-raid. So hit is very important because we have to hit our icy touches. Another good cloak option is going to be this one, dropping off of multiple bosses in Nax. The plus armor is just super valuable, great tank cloak. And of course, gale-proof cloak coming from OS 10. It's going to be the one that gives us the most amount of stamina. So between these 3 cloaks, you take your pick. Personally, I prefer a tier chest. It's just kind of far and away the most valuable chest in terms of raw stats. These bracers are, again, going to be the best. I do like them, again, because they have the most amount of stats on them. However, I will shout out these tier bracer, or these emblem bracers from Emblem of Valor. They are BOE, plus have hit rating on them. Super good plate risks if you want to just run with these for a while, or in Ulduar. Now, back to the weapons. Of course, if we're going to do the dual wield tank setup, you can go double last laugh, obviously. Now, if you're not running dual wield, what is your next best? Well, it's going to be inevitable defeat. And thankfully, you can run with inevitable defeat basically immediately because no one else in the raid wants it. You might see one drop week 1, and maybe it goes to somebody like a rep paladin or an unholy DK who just wants to get a quick immediate upgrade, and that's okay. You could pass it to them. Look, you're just a tank. Relax. But really, at the end of the day, like, you are the only one in the raid that's like going to truthfully benefit the most out of inevitable defeat. So you can just get spoon-fed this item and sit on it till Ulduar. It's probably like an uncontested item for you, and you pick this up and it's your BiS. Easy. No looking back. Great item. Tons of stamina, strength and agility and expertise. You're just getting everything that you want as a DK tank from this. The only thing you could ask for more is like gem slots, really. This is a great weapon. Of course, our best in slot gloves has got to be the tier gloves. They're just super good. Again, like we talked about earlier, this belt coming off of Mayexna is phenomenal, and it's just so good. The belts in Ulduar are kind of crappy, so I do really like this belt for a long time. You will replace it, but it's phenomenal. Legs, there are a few options again. This one is going to be my recommendation for you to run. This is coming from EOE 25. It's eye level 226, gives you a lot of expertise, like a boatload of expertise. So a really good pickup here. Although you could run with tier, because tier does give you hit rating, which is really good, as well as these hit legs from OS 25. So you take your pick between these 3. I like tier a little bit more than I like Dragon Brood, although they're both good, and Leggings of Sovereignty. Look, if you don't have hit on anywhere else in your gear, then probably don't use these, because you do need the hit. That's the thing about tank BiS lists, guys. Like, you can't just like look at this and think like, oh, cool, I'm just going to use all these items. Like, you have to be flexible with what you have at your disposal and change it up depending on the boss fight, or just change it up depending on what you've seen drop, actually. Again, this JC ring, we talked about it earlier, it's phenomenal. It's your BiS. This ring, however, coming from Emblem of Valor, is crazy good because it has 56 defense rating. I feel like when this ring was created, something went wrong with the calculator, because this has way more defense rating than it should, and it has hit, and it has a large amount of stamina. This ring is crazy strong. You get this as soon as you can with Emblem of Valor. It's going to be really good. You'll use it a lot. And of course, our trinkets and sigil do not change whatsoever. And that's it. As you can see, our defense rating right here is sitting at 538. We are under the defense cap, but technically, because we have 15 resilience coming from our shoulder enchant, we are actually defense capped. Plus, we also have our sigil covering us there even further. So we are way over defense cap, even though it says 538 instead of 540. So don't sweat that whatsoever. Okay, cool. I think that's it. I've covered everything here. I will leave links to these BiS lists in the video description below. Thank you so much for listening. I will have much more coming. I hope this went well. I hope I explained everything well for you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I will look through all of the comments. I will try to answer as best as I can, and I have more coming for you on the way. Thanks again for watching. Peace.